Hello, everybody. This is marriage mentor Jiva Sam, and we're talking about how you shift the spiritual atmosphere of your marriage. Because, friends, on the one hand, you can do all that you can. You can follow all sorts of techniques and teachings and apply principles to your marriage from the Bible. But you know what? If the atmosphere in your home is not right, you will find that to be a struggle. It's a little bit like having enough oxygen in a room. You know, you can work out all you want, but if there's not enough oxygen in the room for you to breathe, then you're not going to get the results you desire. You're not going to get the growth. Something in the room will stunt your growth. And especially if there's any toxins in the air, that'll definitely go into your lungs and it'll prevent you from functioning at full capacity, right? And so in a natural setting in our home, if we have toxins, if we have pollen, whatever, then what do? We get an air purifier. And friends, it's the same thing with your marriage. You need to make sure that the oxygen, the life-giving breath in your room is always present in the marriage. There's room for it all the time. And so any toxins that you have allowed to accumulate in your marriage, in your relationship, need to be purified. Now, what is this air purifier that we use? Well, let's look at one of the common toxins that tends to poison marriages. And this is really anxiety. Anxiety has its roots in fear. And so when things are not right in your marriage, you live with a lot of fear. You know, is my spouse going to leave me? How is this tension in our marriage affecting our children? And how are they going to be able to cope with life? You know, you may have already seen their grades slipping or some other kind of a symptom that is showing up. And so there's anxiety in them, and that of course arouses anxiety in you. Or you may even look further ahead and say, well, you know, if we do have a breakup, how am I going to survive? What am I going to do about the future? And so there's all sorts of anxiety that actually affects you from having a great relationship in your marriage. And so even when you're working through issues, you need to address the toxin of anxiety. You know, here's the best way to address anxiety that I know of. And this comes straight from the Bible, from Philippians 4:6. Do not be anxious about anything, but in every situation, by prayer and petition, with thanksgiving, present your request to God. Friends, you know, we are very good at praying. But you know what I found in 34 years of being a pastor is that not everybody does enough thanksgiving when they pray and petition God. We get so caught up in our need and asking God to intervene that we forget this very important directive that God has given us in His Word, that you need to bring them before Him with thanksgiving. So, how are you going to replace the toxin of anxiety with this antidote of thanksgiving? Here are two simple things that you can do. Every day, take a journal, maybe even buy a little notebook and call it your Thanksgiving journal. And write down just two things, okay? Just two things for the next 21 days. Here's number one. One thing I'm thankful for today. So that can be anything that happens in that day or happened earlier already the night before or whatever. Whenever you write your journal, just focus on one thing, even though there may have been a lot of things that didn't go right that day. Even though there may have been some arguments, some fights, you need to still say, okay, one thing I'm thankful for today is that I have a place to live. One thing I'm thankful for today is that I didn't really lose my cool the way that I thought I would. One thing I'm thankful today is that, you know, my children didn't wake up at night with nightmares, whatever it is. So write down the one thing for which you're thankful. And the second thing you need to do is to write down one thing I'm thankful for my spouse being part of my life. So one thing I'm thankful for Slodna being part of my life. And by the way, this being thankful for your spouse may not be easy to write when you're going through struggles in the present. But you know what? There have always been times in your life when you were thankful for your spouse, when you're thankful for some of the wonderful memories you created together. So one thing I'm thankful, you know, for Slodna being part of my life, is the fact that, you know, we took this great trip together. So write those two things down, do it for 21 days, and you'll be amazed at how it shifts the spiritual atmosphere of your marriage. And this is, friends, one of the teachings that we provide in our marriage mentorship process that we offer couples in stress and distress in their marriage. And if you would like to talk to us more about it, we're here to help and show you how you can also move your marriage from a potential breakdown to breakthrough. All you got to do is to click on this link, meetme.so.jivasam. You got that right in front of you, and book a free 30-minute consultation and let us help you. Let us provide the mentorship that you need to get your marriage right before God and with one another.